river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me. Run.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest today. We have back Charles Smith, and Charles has written, you may remember, I'm going to hold up the first 3 books. He's got a series, and I think you may remember it, some of you. Trauma, PTSD, Recovery Coping Skills, and Mindfulness Workbook. That was one. Then the Addiction Recovery and Coping Skills Workbook, and Practical Awareness and Self-Defense for Safety at Home and School and on the Street. Now, these are 3 of the series. He's got 2 more. Now, those are the... Welcome, Charles.
Thank you.
And you
Great
have...
being here.
Yeah, it's good. We were catching up. It's been a year and a half, maybe?
Yeah, about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got 2 more that he's adding on to his series. Perspectives on Finding Success Through Change and Growth. Operation Awaken the Metamorphosis Inside You. Are you going to be bringing some downstairs to the library for the?
I got to come back with for those,
Okay.
but I did drop off some cards
Good.
so people can get those
Sure.
and get on and get free books.
Yeah, you can. You can use the bulletin board in the lobby too for anything. Your cards, everything. It's a great way to. And we have the Positive Thinking Workbook, Operation Happy Mind. These are all the lifelong experience theories. Got a good picture of him in the back. When was this taken?
That picture was probably taken 2 years ago.
You don't look different.
No.
It's great. He doesn't age. Oh. Charlie, start from the beginning. Now, you had PTSD, and how did it all happen?
I've had PTSD since I was 6 years old, and it started when my mother died when I was 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then my father moved us out to Texas and Arizona out there, and it got worse out there because I was kind of the minority.
Minority?
Yeah, I was on the Mexico border of Texas,
Oh, okay.
a small town called Van Horn, Texas.
Yeah.
And in that school, I was one of the only white children in the school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have to learn Spanish?
No. I learned Spanish when I was in Cuba, though.
Yeah.
But-
You were in Cuba.
Yeah, well, when I was in the military.
Okay, so now you're 6. You've lost your mom.
Yep.
And you're in Texas, and you lived in Arizona as well.
Yeah, I lived on a Navajo reservation
In Arizona?
in Arizona.
What
yes.
town was it in?
The Indian Nation, Navajo Nation, I forget what it's called, what town it was called, though.
But was that interesting?
But
Yeah.
it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I was the only white child on a Navajo reservation.
Yeah.
And children being children.
They
you know.
poke fun at you.
Yeah. And a lot of people ask me if Dad made me racist at all, but I reply with, I have a son that's half Spanish
Yep.
and half Hawaiian. Spanish and Hawaiian, and then whatever I am, I don't even know what I am.
Well, I think
Italian, Irish.
Italian. Well, yeah, your last name Lorenzo. Yeah, but the original one, that would be Italiano. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yep,
So okay, now you're in Arizona,
yep.
and what happened?
Then my father passed away. We moved back to Texas, and then my father passed away when we were in Texas.
How old were you then?
I was 11.
You lose your mother at 6. You lose your father at 11.
Yeah.
Who took care of you now?
My grandfather caught wind of it and sent my uncle down to Texas to get us. Now, back then, there was no website, there was no
Yeah.
internet or anything like that. So they called one of my other uncles, who had the last name Lorenzo, because that's my family name.
Yeah.
And they got a hold of him at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Called, and then he called my grandfather, and then my grandfather sent my uncle down to Texas. Then my uncle had to drive 300 miles to Van Horn
My God.
to get us.
Yeah.
And within that time, the state's trying to put us in their care.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
yeah, God knows what would have happened.
So
at
you
that.
went with Grandpa or your uncle? You went with your grandpa.
I lived with my uncle and my aunt and my grandparents were my next door neighbors.
And where did you move back to New England?
Yes, Massachusetts.
Oh wow,
Yep,
that's
yep,
quite a
where we
culture
are now.
shock right there.
Yeah.
So then
Yep.
you were about 11. How did your father die so early, and your mom?
My mother died of mixing pills and alcohol.
Yep.
And my father died of diabetes complications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both young though, right? I mean,
Well,
gosh.
there was a 30 age difference between my mother and my father.
38 years?
30 years.
30, that's a
Yes.
lot. That's almost 2 generations.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep.
And your mom was sort of really, really young. So now you're 11 and you're back in Massachusetts. Then what?
Then I lived with my aunt and uncle, and I guess my sister told me a year ago that I didn't talk for a year, or 6 months rather. I was a mute. I just was in such shock.
At 11
over-
years old?
Yeah, over everything that happened that I didn't talk
Yeah.
for 6 months. And then I began getting by that. But I always had like a, and I talk about it in my new book. I talk about, it's about loss. And I talk about how I was, I don't know how to explain it, how I was really vengeful. And I was a rebel, because the only 2 things I wanted in life was my mother and father back, and that's the
No.
2 things that I couldn't get.
Charles, were you the youngest, oldest, or middle?
It's funny you say that. In my aunt and uncle's family,
Yeah.
me and my sister were the 2 oldest, but I was the middle, considered like the middle child.
Yeah.
My sister, I call her my sister, she's my cousin, but I call her my sister, Christina. Me and her like the middle child's children. And then I had my brother Vinny, who's younger, and my sister Laurie, who's older. Yeah.
So you've always been sort of in the middle.
Yeah. Yep. Growing up in her house, I was a middle child.
So you made it through high school in Massachusetts. Made it
Barely.
through. Barely. And then from what happened then?
Then I went into the army,
Yeah.
Army infantry, and I loved that.
You liked
but
it.
I got out of it after my 3 years, my 3-year stint in Colorado Springs. And that's when I spent 6 months in Cuba.
Yeah.
We were guarding Cuban and Haitian camps because the Cubans and Haitians were trying to get over to the U.S. on nothing bigger than this chair. I knew a little kid, he was like 11 years old, and he lost his whole family in the ocean.
They tried to come over, yeah.
Yeah,
Was it like,
and
what did they,
drowned and
what was it, like a tube? What did they find to come try?
anything
Anything they could.
anything that would float, they tried getting over to the U.S. on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yep, that was back in like '95.
And you were okay through then. You were okay through that.
Yeah, I didn't mind the military at all. I thrived.
Yeah.
And like when we were going out and doing missions and stuff, I thrived in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like sort of, your parents were gone, and now you had a form of almost like a family, right? In the Army?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
So
yep.
you spent 3 years in the Army?
3 years active, 5 years
That's
inactive.
all, yeah. You didn't go to
Yeah.
Nam. You're too young for Nam, right?
No, yeah, I'm too
Yeah,
young
you
for
didn't go
that.
to Nam.
I was in during this Desert Storm
Desert
era.
Storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were right after the,
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so you come out of the Army. We're talking again with Charles Smith, and he has written many books in the series of Lifelong Experience series. He's sharing with you right now how he got, how he came into PTSD and the problems he's had. Go ahead.
And before the Army, I got into drinking and I got into smoking pot and crack cocaine.
Yeah.
And that's where my addiction recovery book comes in. But
Yeah.
that was sort of my detox was basic training in AIT in the Army.
So when you went in, you actually literally were detoxing off the stuff.
Yes.
Right. I can't imagine. Did the medical personnel there know how to help you at all?
I didn't tell anybody that I was detoxing.
You just did a cold turkey.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You're lucky to be here.
Oh, definitely.
But you didn't tell anybody you were sick, detoxing?
No. And I mean, I was really skinny.
Yeah.
They would feed me sometimes double meals to bulk me up.
Yeah.
I just told them I was just skinny. That's the way I am.
All right, so you got out
That's
of...
what it was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're perfect. You're fine now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then after that, after you got out of the Army, you were still living in Massachusetts.
Yes.
Then what?
Then I lived with friends for a while. I had my own apartment at a time. But about 15 years ago, I became a homeless veteran because my uncle that raised me, my grandfather that raised me, both died a month apart, both of cancer.
You've got some really short-living relatives. I mean, these people are passing away early in life.
Well, my grandfather was 75, 80.
But nowadays?
Yeah, it's
That's
not,
middle age nowadays, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You've got your siblings alive still, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you
yeah.
guys are all cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you were living, you had an apartment. Then what?
Then that happened with with my uncle and my grandpa, and then I just went through a really dark depression, and I became a carver, cutting on myself,
Yeah.
and I tried killing myself with a bottle of sleeping pills. And
Who found you?
I was living with some friends at that time.
Yeah, and they found you.
They found me in the morning. Yeah, and they tried to wake me up, and I couldn't wake up. And
Did they take you up to UMass? They're pros at this.
They called an ambulance, and they sent me up to UMass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they admit you or just send you home afterwards?
They admitted me,
Yeah.
but then my friends didn't want me back at the house because I was at such a dark stage in my life.
Well, what did you do?
I ended up going out to Boston and being homeless, pretty much, for a few months, and then I found VA facilities, and I stayed at a place called Court Street Shelter.
Yeah.
And then I bounced from like veteran shelter to veteran shelter for a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, you've probably seen the brand new VA up near UMass.
Yes.
It's right in the whole complex of UMass.
I was just there. Yeah.
What's it like inside?
It's beautiful. Like I just seen the optometry place because I had you can probably see my eyes are
He
dilated.
did his eyes dilated. he drove. You drove. Did you have the dark glasses on they give you?
Yeah. Well, I had these.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want you
Yeah.
driving around with like double vision. God, we've never
I'm
seen
hoping that when I get out of here, I can see better.
Oh my God, yeah, you brave. Okay, so you went there and you saw the new VA.
Yeah, and it's nice. Like the optometry place, they had a small little office in the VA on Lincoln Street,
Yeah,
and now they have
that one on Lincoln
probably
Street.
the size of an office.
Yeah, it's all right. Parking. We've wondered. UMass has the ACC parking next door to it, but
Yeah.
where's the parking for the VA?
You know, the parking garage.
Yeah,
You go in there, and then you get the ticket that they want you to
yeah,
get.
at UMass. Okay.
Yeah. And then the VA gives you a ticket that you got to bring down to where you pay for your parking, and then you go out of there.
You don't have to pay, right?
Yeah, I don't have to pay.
That's
no,
good because
no,
our
yeah.
veterans, no way should they have to pay.
Yeah,
like-
veterans don't have to pay
No
that.
way.
Yeah.
Now, when did all this come to you? All these wonderful books, the Lifelong Experience series. Before we go any further, Charles, how do they get a hold of you and your books?
Go to lifelongexperience.net, and you can email me from there. You can look at all the books, and all the books are free right now on Apple, on Kindle, on Nook, Kobo, I think it is. There's a variety of different.
That's great. That's great.
ways that I
I
can
was
get it for
talking
free.
with Charles that during the COVID, a lot of the bookstores, places like that, libraries were closed. So a lot of the authors would say, "I don't know what to do." I say, "Hang in there. Contact them. Make sure you get on the list so that when they open, and now they're reopening, you'll be
Yeah.
probably one of the first ones they call to have you come on in." Don't give up, because it was going to end sometime.
Oh, yeah.
And these are the last. Are there going to be any more in the series?
Yeah, the next one is going to be about loss, which is part of that series. And I think after that, there's going to be one more in that series.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a memoir, but instead of like the memoir that I have out now, the first 11 years of my life,
Yeah.
it's going to be a bunch of different stories from my life, the whole 48 years.
He is a 40-year survivor of PTSD. That started when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Perspectives on finding success through change and growth. Operation Awaken the Metamorphosis Inside You. This is one of the new ones. Positive Thinking Workbook. Operation Happy Mind. Charles Smith. And I'm looking at the other 3 that he already had. So this makes it 5. Where's the memoir? When do we get to read that? Is it out already?
That's out already. You can find that on lifelongexperience.net too.
Okay.
I didn't have a copy of it to bring in
Okay,
today.
those first 11 years of this gentleman's life were like hell on earth. I mean, you lose your mother at 6.
Yeah.
You lose your father at 11.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would be in a mental. I don't know if I could have handled it.
It's called my memoir is called 10 Homes in 11 Years.
Oh man.
Because I was literally in 10 homes in 11 years.
Charles, what made you decide to do these great books to help people? What made you decide?
Well, I was running probably 10 years back or more. I was running programs on PTSD, on mindfulness, positive thinking.
Yeah.
At places like Jeremiah's Inn in Worcester.
Oh, yeah.
And Veterans Inc. in Worcester.
Is that on Grove Street?
It is.
Yeah, they
Yep.
still have it right there. Okay,
Yes.
all right,
Yep.
Yep.
And then when I was done with that, I took time off from doing that. And when I was done with that, I still wanted the information to be out there.
Yeah.
So I went on createspace.com and figured out that I could self-publish my books.
And you also went out, remember? You went out, like, said you all the listings, the contacts.
Yes.
You went out.
Yep.
How did you like that?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I was actually going to different libraries and right before COVID hit.
In the bookstore, did you get to
I was taking off, yeah.
Yeah, you went to Catnach.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Did you go get the big room in the back, or did you stay up front?
I stayed up front, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. Some authors do that when they're just getting started. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then as time goes by, they go out to the big room in the back of Catnach. I've given presentations there. It's amazing. Just as long as you got a great big sign to direct people into
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Now, these two, how long did it take you to write these?
The positive thinking one was probably a few months.
You're
That was
quick.
like an offshoot of my trauma
Yeah.
book. Yeah. And
And the other one.
that
I would
other
say-
one probably about 9 months to a year.
You're fast. It's rare that I meet an author who writes that quickly, and that's awesome. Usually a year, but who designs the covers? Your publisher?
Lisa Shea.
Oh, Lisa. She's
Yeah,
been on the show a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
times. Yep, I
Yeah,
know her well.
Yep.
Did
Good
you
friend.
know that the bookstore in Sutton is closed?
I didn't know that.
Went out of business.
Oh.
Yeah, I know it. I took a friend over there recently, and it's sad. I mean, you could get books and stuff, but they were. It was a great. Remember the dragon
yeah.
out front?
I went in there a couple times.
Yeah. They were great.
That's sad. Oh, man.
She had your books there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You know, these are like journals. It's so cool. Like, create your vision, and then there's the part of it on the other page where you can write. I love that part. Oh, I love that.
That's how all my books are.
Yeah, pushing yourself, dream, courage, inspire, harmony. Did you do those rocks yourself, or you found?
I found that picture.
I love
I have
it.
those rocks, but I found that picture. Yeah.
Oh boy, pushing yourself. First off, don't procrastinate. I'm looking at our videographer. If you are going to do something, do it. No excuses. I just had some news today that shook me up. I just finished making a video for my YouTube channel, and after the news, I decided to take a step back and collect my thoughts. I ended up having dinner and then watching a movie. Halfway through the movie, I was reminded about one of the videos I talk about, taking at least a half hour a day to write. Does that mean in our journal too? Or,
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I told myself is after the movie, I'm going to take that half hour and write. I got 12 minutes to go if I only do the half hour.
Mm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think that's really significant because a lot of people can't find the time to write.
Yeah.
So just take a half hour out of the day
And write.
at night or in the morning, and just write down your thoughts.
The Positive Thinking Workbook, meditation. I always say meditation over medication. Does that work for you?
It does. Yeah, but it doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
But it works for if you've been in meditation and mindfulness and all that.
Yeah.
As long as I have,
Yep.
then it works.
It
Yeah.
works. Did you do Zoom at all during the pandemic?
Like my own groups?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
No.
No.
Well, you can do just about anything on that Zoom thing, but it's like
Oh,
Hollywood
yeah.
Squares. It's like,
Yeah, right. I've done a lot of classes because I just graduated in Quinn Sigmund College
Yeah.
for Human Services. I have my associates and a certificate in that.
So, does that mean that you would be, let's say, maybe ad care helping people there?
now. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
That sort of thing. Yep.
I think they have a new president over there. New director. Gee, there's so
Okay.
many places.
I'm going to open up. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but
Yeah.
I'm going to open up my own place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just talked to the Small Business Association last week, and we're going to have weekly meetings about it. But I'm opening up a place that's pretty much going to bring my books to life.
Oh, that is so cool. Did you ever
Yeah.
get up to, I don't know if I sent it to you, the Millbury one? I can't think of the name of it. The Millbury Recovery.
Sunrise Detox, yes.
Yeah. Did you get up there? I think you did, didn't you?
I was going to, and then the pandemic hit.
Okay. Because
The,
that guy, he's great. The guy that, yeah.
Yeah.
I know you'd like him.
Well, the significant part about that is, and I was just talking to my aunt about this the other day, I should have been a millionaire.
Well, I should too, but okay, go ahead.
But
I'll take it.
the reason why is my father owned that place.
Yeah.
It was a nursing home.
In Millbury.
That Sunrise Detox.
I remember that was
Yeah.
a nursing home.
Yep. That was Smith Nursing Home.
Yeah.
That was my father's nursing
Your
home.
dad.
Yeah, yep. And then he owned like 3 other nursing homes in Worcester. And then he owned land, and he owned a lot of things. And one day it just went poof. Everything was gone. Even the house that we lived in.
Just they ran out of money?
Everything. We don't know what happened. My grandfather had to hurry up and build us a house. That's how
Yeah.
bad it was.
Yeah.
But I was like 2 or 3 years old.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is long before you, okay.
Yeah, that was before my mother died.
So you lived in Worcester before going to Texas and Arizona?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yep.
So this was all
Then I went back
happening
to
as a little
Worcester.
boy, you're about, what, 3 years old?
Yeah.
You're seeing, suddenly, that's it.
Yeah.
Where did you go in the meantime while your uncle was building your house?
My grandfather built the house.
Your grandfather.
But that I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Yeah.
But my grandfather had land on my street.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, my whole street was full of my family, and he had land on there, so he built a duplex.
Mm-hmm.
And my aunt said that she never seen anything go up so quick.
Yeah.
But we had to move into there because my father lost everything.
What a life you have had. We're talking again with Charles Smith, and he's been with us before. I'll go over it again if you maybe not remember. Practical awareness and self-defense for safety at home, in school, and on the street.
And the good thing about that book, if I can interrupt for a second,
Sure.
is I have active shooter tips in that.
Yeah.
With everything that's been seeing everything that's going on in the news, I think that's imperative.
Of evasion, avoiding something unpleasant, a means of avoidance. Setting up your situation so you evade violence and danger. You can't become a victim if you're not where danger and violence is.
Right.
And then you can write in your own experience. And then trauma, PTSD, recovery coping skills, and mindfulness workbook. Which I would say PTSD is lifelong.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
And it's not just if you're at war. It could happen like in your own family, like all the trauma things that can happen within a family. add that
Yeah.
onto the things going on in the world today. Ay, ay, ay.
And one thing about that people don't probably know
Yeah.
is PTSD is PTSD is PTSD.
Mm.
Like what I'm trying to tell the VA right now is I have two different types of PTSD. Or they think I have two different types of PTSD. PTSD from life and PTSD from the military. But you only have one PTSD, and it's compounded over time. It's compounded over traumas.
Yeah.
So once you have post-traumatic stress, you have post-traumatic stress.
That's it. Yeah.
There's not multiple post-traumatic stresses.
Is that
And
the
a lot
type of thing
people
that you
don't
wake up in
realize
the
that.
morning with a feeling of, well, there's nothing to be afraid of, but a little bit of dread and that type of thing? Anxiety?
You can, yeah.
That's interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
Addiction Recovery and Coping Skills Workbook. Another good one. And, of course, the latest ones. And his memoir's out, too. Positive Thinking Workbook and Perspectives on Finding Success. And, again, Charles, how can they get a hold of your books?
Lifelongexperience.net.
Like .net,
And,
that's it.
Yeah. On there you can find all the books, you can find all the videos, a couple of videos of me and Jan.
Yep.
Yeah, you can find all the information on there.
That is amazing. Now, you have on your website, I hope do you have a contact button?
I do.
Oh,
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
because I can't
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you how many times I have to go searching for someone.
No, I've actually had people compliment me on the ease of my website.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
great. So they can contact you, and if somebody wanted you to come and speak, maybe to the teenagers, the kids in
Oh,
their
yeah.
20s,
I
you're
would-
open to it.
Yeah, I love doing that.
He's got an easy style, non-threatening, and he's been through it. And if you have maybe a millennial youngster at home or in their 20s or 30s or whatever, and going through the tough times with the drugs, the booze, the pot,
Yep,
you
yep.
name it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's, how old were you when you got into pot?
Oh, I was like 15, 16?
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah,
And they say
younger.
that the younger you are, when you start pot, I don't know why they single that out, but they say pot, that if you're prone to a mental health issue, that it can lead, doesn't always, but can lead to schizophrenia in young adult life.
Oh, yeah.
That is scary. That would be enough. If I was into that, that would be enough for me. I'd be like, no.
Oh, yeah.
That would
Yep.
scare me. Funny how they zero in on that. Maybe they mean the other stuff too. But I don't know. Charlie, where do we get your memoir again? It's already online?
Yep, it's already online. Lifelongexperience.net has all my books.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. All
Yeah.
right. Well, we're going to have him back again, of course, because you're working on another one now, right? Or two?
I'm coming out with one in about a month
Oh, that's great.
called Operation Footprints, and it's about dealing with loss. And then after that, I'm going to be working on getting my business going,
Yep.
and I'm going to be working on a memoir book, good stories, good, bad, and the ugly, about the 48 years of my life.
That's great. That's great. Well, you keep those books coming, okay?
Oh, yeah.
The more you get out there, too, the more you're going to help so many people.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Jen.
We'll see you again.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We'll see you next time on Be My Guest.
Riding on a shooting star,